All right. Good morning and welcome to Morning Man. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Charlotte, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, good morning. Bright eye and bushy tail. Ready for the week.
Well, good. We have to say that we don't know where Ray is. Ray probably asleep. A little bit of rain in Indiana. Ray can't wake up. Sorry if you're watching this or if you watch this later, know that we missed you. And if you're watching it now, know that you can still click the link and get in. Right? We
Yes.
look forward to seeing Ray on Monday so that we have somebody to get a few jabs in on a Monday morning. And today he's deprived us of that. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful morning. It is the 22nd day of September. Yesterday was our 44th year as an independent nation. So I want to say congratulations to Fui people for make that journey possible. Um, yeah. What's on your mind this morning, Charlotte?
It's the recovery. I've been thinking about the independence and seeing things changing back home. Um, but I think first, Rhonda, we have to be talk about our gratitude. And
Okay, all right, right. Let's be grateful. Good morning, Jacqueline Martinez. How are you? Where are you? And what are you grateful for this morning? So, Charlotte, since you bring it up, we're grateful for this morning.
oh gosh, Rhonda, again, I'm grateful to be alive and up and kicking this morning. But as always, I'm grateful for family and good friends. I'm grateful that the good Lord have put people in my place that needs to be here.
I'm listening.
And for my granddaughter who really turned up the place, yes, on Saturday, she really showed her parents what exactly I said about her, that this is Charlotte Usher. Remember her grandfather didn't say Charlotte Nally, said, this is Charlotte Usher grandbaby. She got in the middle of the march and she showed up with her flag and danced.
Love it.
So life is good.
Life is good.
And
What
you,
am I
Rhonda?
what am I grateful for this morning? I'm grateful for many things, but today I have to say, like you, I'm grateful for the people that God have placed on my path because without them, my journey would have been a lot less interesting, a lot less productive. And I think a lot of these people don't even recognize how much I appreciate them because some of them came for a short time, but they gave a big blow in a good way. So I'm grateful for those people that have helped and continue to help me along this journey. Some of them with one act, some of them with continuous little acts, some of them with a few big acts. If I was to sit here, I wouldn't be able to say all of their names, but all the ones that gave me a chance when I didn't think I would get a chance. I am grateful for all the people that said, make we give Rhonda a chance. Make we give that girl a chance. One of all the businesses that took the ride with me for the last 15 or so years and continue to take the ride with me. I'm really grateful for them, for those people that said, hey, let's give that girl a chance. Because without those chances, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you. Um, for the people in the Caribbean, Errol Fabian. I really want to maybe Errol is my guy this morning. I want to lift him up as my gratitude guy, the guy that I'm really grateful for. Errol was the guy that got me on 26 Caribbean into 26 Caribbean countries with one blow, if you will.
Wow.
So I am grateful for all of those people. But today, let's say I'm grateful for Errol Fabian and the opportunity that he handed me and he continues to hand me. So today I am those are the things that I am grateful for today. Because like they say, without these helps, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you today, Charlotte. Life would be a whole lot different. I'm sure that because of God's grace, it would be great, but it would be different. And I happen to enjoy how it is. So there. That's the way I'm grateful for. If anybody's watching, what are you grateful for this morning? Where are you watching from? Today's a holiday in Belize, so a lot of people will be asleep. Still, they don't have to get up for work. They're recovering from the activities from last night, the good times that I miss. And
You
I,
and me have been crying about this. But you know, Rhonda, I've noticed, and maybe it had been happening and I just never noticed before. But I noticed now, I knew that Orange Walk had their carnival. They had started
Uh,
doing theirs, and the people from the city started going up there too because it's gotten big and really good. But I was blown out when I saw Corozal came up with their carnival. San Pedro had their carnival. And I was like, wow, everywhere is really stepping up.
well, that's what's happening. I know that San Pedro had their carnival, but I'm not sure to what how big it was or how big it was in the past compared to what it is today. I wasn't aware that Corozal had their carnival as well. But definitely that's a good vibe. That is good energy, because I'm sure that a lot of people that participates in the carnival in the city go to Orange Walk and go to Corozal and go to San Pedro, because
Yes.
that's just what we do. I remember when I was at home that I would go to Belize City Carnival, then I'd go to Orange Walk Carnival, because that was what we were supposed to do. That was a good time. We're going to extend our good time to a second day. But I'm here. So hopefully
So
next year I'll
now
be able to go.
I won't say my age because back in my time there wasn't carnival. Orange Walk Carnival didn't even exist. Well, if
Uh-huh.
it did, I wouldn't have known about it. But carnival for us was not as elaborate as it is um, today. For us, I remember as carnival, we were in carnival, but carnival was most of the kids
Hmm.
that that had their costume on, um, and it wasn't as big as now they have the children in it and the adults, but I don't remember it as big and as elaborate with all the beautiful costume. I think I remember when Ethel Christie came and she started leading the carnival. She was the first one, I think, that came with some um, bright costume. I don't know if you even remember that, Rhonda, when Ethel Christie led the parade before Stanley Lizama ever did.
I don't know.
Um,
My argument to that, Charlotte, is that Ida found boom, Ida Bush boom. So because of that, I might know, but I definitely know Stanley Lizama, and he is associated with Carnival. He's the guy where I recognize Carnival with. And I didn't grow up in the city. I grew up in Boom, and so the little carnival that we had was just like a quiet little street. We go on the street and we dance, and it's mostly children, young people that dance then. So yeah, I really got into, or I got to know more about carnival maybe when I was like 20, when I started working for Love FM, and then I became more involved in city life, come out of my village life. That was when I really about 19, 20 years old was when I started to see carnival and follow carnival, because I used to have to work in carnival. um, but yeah, it has grown a lot. But carnival is a lot of investment in your body, in your costume, time. I have to applaud the people for that, because if it was up to me, I would go out and dance in t-shirt and shorts. That would be it. But these guys are not messing around with that. They are making it a big, big event,
so
right?
these costumes are very expensive.
Oh yeah. I mean, if they're not $50. They're I think there are hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars, depending on where you go to carnival. I feel like the costumes in like Trinidad are much more expensive and much more elaborate as well. um or anywhere else in the Caribbean. In Belize, I'm not sure, but I know that there are a few $100, maybe $800, depending on where you get on, $500. I don't know, but they're not $20 and $30 or $100. They're costly. And you can understand why. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of material. Some people would argue that there's not enough material that goes into it, depending on who you ask. But there's a lot of creativity that goes into it. So yeah. So I
So
think
I'll have to. I was in Carnival in the 80s in Miami. That was when. See, Rhonda, I'm taking you back to my age. That was when the Belize crowd would come up and participate with the Belizeans American in Miami.
Right.
That was another big thing. So I remember in the 80s when that just started, I participated 1 year. I think it was the year before I got married in the carnival. Um, and yes, we had on more clothes than you could imagine because I don't think my family would have allowed me to go out there with the little pieces back then. But
I mean, kudos to them people. You hear if they
oh
want to go out
yes,
there, if they got
gosh,
the body, go out and do it. I every time I see Carnival here or Miami, I mean in Belize or Miami or in the Caribbean or wherever, I applaud the people that go into Carnival, but especially because I want to hide this body. I just know want everybody see it because I don't think it perfect. I want to hide it. I want to hide my legs. I think they could be a lot more tone. I want to hide my stomach. And then I see these women out there that are proud of their body. They are 300 pounds and they are 300 pounds proud. So today, I want to say big up on yourself
I
because
was going to say the same thing
yeah,
because
the
when I
self
see them,
confidence that they have, I want a portion of it. So they lady then I want to make my carnival meaningful, if you will, because I say, look on that lady. They are proud, they are comfortable, they are free, and that is a level of freedom that some people that are 130 pounds will never experience. They will never experience that kind of confidence. So big up on
so
yourself.
I say I live life through them. When I see them, I spot my eye on them and follow them because I said, gosh, if I could only do what they do, I am so proud of them because it shows how a woman is so um, proud of themselves, proud of their body, proud of who they are. I really admire women that there's no shame because yes, I would be hiding everything, but I really and this takes us into another piece of how I know we spoke with Ray about women and how many of us are the matriarch, many of us are the strong backbone. And so his ears will be ringing because this is our turn to roar. But the other day we were discussing about in Belize back then, since we're taking it back then, and growing up, you know, there wasn't like much of a shame on your size. And the
Right.
discussion came up this weekend with my kids about different countries, and we were at a Moroccan restaurant, and one of their friends was telling me that, oh, the bigger the woman, the thicker, the more beautiful, and the men there they prize their woman in being a good sized body. And I said, we talk about the cat calling or whatever they call it in Belize, and how some foreigners come to our country and they're not used to it. And they think it's degrading women. And for me, when I go home, I'm used to it. But you know what? When they're telling me that, oh, you're looking good, how you look so sweet, and I I like that. I have no problem with it as long as they're not disrespecting me in any derogatory way. Hey, somebody else telling me I look good, bigging me up. Yes, I love it. But so going back to my story is that growing up, I never used to hear about young women throwing up, regurgitating, having this disorder because they have to look like this certain figure on television. But again, television wasn't as common back then.
You never have no TV.
But even in high school, I never heard of it until as now that I've grown up and moved on. That, oh, one of the friends used to do that. And I said, wow, in Belize, I would think that we women pride ourselves in how, that these men thought that our women of figure were were the good looking. And so it breaks my heart to see that um, I don't know if it's Western civilization has come to our country and that our young ladies, even some of our young men, have this disorder, and many of us don't know that our close loved ones do.
You know, it's funny you say that. I don't. I mean, when I was younger, I don't think anybody paid attention. Maybe they did, but maybe because I wasn't paying attention, I didn't think that people paid attention. Um, I was relatively skinny. I was a skinny girl, so maybe I would have wanted to be a little bit more solid. I would have want some definition for my body because my body was just like a straight stick. I was just a skinny girl, right? So I think the thing that we were thinking, man, I wish I had a little bit more butt, or nobody was thinking, oh, I want to be 100 pounds, or I don't think anybody was thinking that. I think people back then, or girls that I was around, we wanted our body to be more shapely than straight. I think that was
Yes.
the only interest that we had back then, because I guess that's how we felt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think now we live in a society where people glorify the physical more than the internal human being, and I think we have lost the value for self and people. And when I say we, I mean as a society, in a lot of ways, because you look on social media and everybody wants to look a certain way, and nobody's caring about being a certain way. Nobody is worried about their attitude or how they show up internally. Everybody is worried about how they show up externally. um I want to say that I've always been a simple girl, if you will. Some will say not, but I'm just a simple girl, right? So, and I try to be as plain as possible because I always wanted to give young women the opportunity to see that their beauty is not necessarily on their outside. So I don't want to show up like that, and I don't feel that I have to show up with a lot of makeup and long hair. I mean, I happen to like my hair short and eyelash on. I'm not knocking anybody that does it, but because I see that people don't see their value from the inside out, they see their value from the outside in. I want people to recognize, or at least I wanted when I first started, that was my goal, for people to recognize that you can look ordinary and you can be extraordinary. And I want people to value that always, to remember that your beauty and your worth is not on your pounds, it's not on the dress you wear, it's not on the makeup on your face. It is about how you show up as a human being. And I think that that is something that we definitely have to instill more of that in our society, because we get lost, we get carried away, we want to put on the finest filters, and as when we show up, I can't even recognize who you are, because on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok you have on this filter, and when you're sitting next to me on the bus or in the train or wherever, you look like somebody I've never seen before. So I want to encourage people to show up as yourself. Be proud of who you are. If you don't like the fact that you're 300 pounds, let it be between you and your health and your God. Don't let it be big. Oh my gosh, I don't think so and so is gonna like me. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of people out here that are the perfect weight, the perfect height, the perfect build, and you know who don't like them?
Yes.
Them, they don't like them. So we can't go around, in my opinion, trying to get the approval of somebody for our physical appearance. What we really should do is try and get the approval of ourselves for our full appearance, from our inside out, the way we are, the way we speak to people, the energy that we bring out, the way we leave the room, the way we enter into the room. That's my spiel for today. Try and learn to celebrate you from the inside out.
Absolutely. I totally Agree. I know when I was in Belize, I kept hearing it more and more about these young ladies that are, and young men with the disorder. And I said, wow, it's never been something I've never heard of it as much until this trip that I made home. Um, and it's something that, as parents, we need to be aware of what your children are doing. um, you need to pay more attention to your young people and what's happening in your home. Start seeing those changes, because you can tell when you start seeing these behaviors, when you start seeing some of the weight loss. And I think some of these um, young people, if you don't catch it, it can prolong for a very long time.
But I do think some of it comes from the way we parent our children. I'm sorry. I think that that is the beginning of the problem in a lot of cases, because if you if you emphasize their physical appearance more than their worth, if you will, then you are putting them in a place to pressure them. And a lot of people out there, a lot of mothers would say to their daughters, "Oh man, you're getting fat. Oh my goodness, you see Jenny daughter in a shape. Why you not go play basketball or go play pickleball or whatever?" The way we speak to our children is of the most importance. It's of the utmost importance. We have to speak to our children in a way that will empower them, even when they can't speak. And people want to say you're crazy, but I'll tell you, even when they can't speak, you still speak to them in a way that will empower them from their in your womb to forever. That is your duty. So if you see that if your daughter lives with you or your son lives with you, he's 10 years old or 15 years old. You are the one that's packing their lunch kit. You are the one that's cooking food and they getting fat. It's not their fault. You have something to do with it. It's you that's feeding them. Or it's you that's providing the money to go and buy the fast food or the soda. It's you have something to do with that. And if your child is getting fat and you don't think it's a good idea, then arrange for everybody to go and walk in the evening. Do something. Don't not call your picnic fat, not call her ugly, not call her fool. Them thing they don't help. They know nobody ever got motivated by somebody bringing them down. Nobody.
Yes, yeah, I agree. It's the some to an extent it's the way, but Rana, we do have to think about the influence and also look at who are your children's friends
True.
and where they're getting the influence from. Um, I think about we were when I was there 2 weeks ago. I worked closely with a group of young women volunteers from all ages, and I sat back and I admired that all ages, all sizes, all different makeup and style, but everybody went out together one night and everybody was like, "Oh, you like this for me? Yes, that look good." And yes, and nothing. And I was like, "What? This is different. This is so different how these young women are. They're just encouraging each other." And so then if one, they're all dancing together, and if one of them is sitting down and nobody gets asked up to dance, they all pull up each other and dance. And these are the things that I say, wow, this is how it used to be back then. But again, I solely say that Western civilization and the introduction of television and all that have changed our society in Belize, that, we want to live that. Many of us are looking like we want to be that way, we want to look that way. And we tend to forget our culture and we are the way our culture in Belize was, I must say. I keep emphasizing over and over, and I sing that gosh, we need to bring back Belize the way the way it was, and what perfect for us to speak about it at our 44th and independence.
We are 44, and I think we've, well, not I think, I know we've come a long way. And I have to say though, Charlotte, we want some of the things that are good, and we want to bring them back, and we must adapt to some of the things that
Yes,
exist now. I think that social media has is really it can really help us as a society, as a young society as well, if we were to use it in a positive way, right?
exactly.
I because I think that, let's say for example, there's a lot of people out there with talent, with real raw talent, and they don't have the money to try and make a show or get on a television channel or get on a radio station or whatever. No, they have a phone, they have talent, and they have internet. They can put that together and they can create a space that they can showcase themselves. So I think social media has definitely been a positive thing, especially for people in the Caribbean, where we can showcase ourselves in a positive way. But Lord, more of the majority use it for darkness than for brightness. So I want to encourage people to use it for lightness. Use it for sure the good in you and the good in other people. I mean, that is every time I turn on social media, I think to myself, this gal could do so much better if then I just look on it from one slightly different angle. Um, but yeah, I can see that we've made a long stride. But then sometimes I ask myself, right? I ask myself, and I want anybody that's in this room to tell me, I struggle with this from time to time. Did we really need to become an independent nation? Did we need to become an independent nation? Then some people, I don't want nobody getting in my inbox and say, what happened? I appreciate the work of our forefathers. I appreciate the work. I truly appreciate the work. I'm asking, did we need it?
So, Rhonda, what would tell me one thing? Like, let's say, let's look back and say in a positive way, one thing that believes that becoming independent has caused a detriment to us.
Well, this is not the platform for it, but I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm not saying that there is, in every situation, everything, there's good and bad. So when we are 18 years old, some people say, I can't wait for me, I be 18 for left my mother's house, right? I want to be my own person. I want to turn my own door key. And the good thing about that, like independence, we get to experience and be free to grow how we want to grow. But when we leave our mother's house, we leave a lot of security behind. We leave what they have built. So we have, let's just take it from being a child to an adult. So now I'm 20 years old and I'm thinking I have to leave my mother's house. I can't wait to get out of here because, oh my goodness. But before we left, we didn't negotiate anything with our parents. We were just so quick to get out. So we got out. We are free. Now I'm living in an apartment with my husband and two children, or maybe I have two baby daddy or whatever the situation is. I'm living in a place that is a little bit different than where I was living. But if had I negotiated something with my parents when I was still under their care, I probably could have gotten out in a more beneficial way to me. Right? But because I was so eager to be separated, I left my mother's house with the clothes on my back and whatever other little knickknacks I had. I didn't say to them, I want to remember now that this bed that I've been using for the past 20 years, I would really want to take it to start my life. I would really want to be able to take the car that I've been driving, if you don't mind, because you're not using it. So I didn't negotiate anything. I'm not sure what happened in 1981. I'm glad and proud that we're an independent nation. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying maybe, just maybe, we could have negotiated a little bit more to get a little bit more out of it. We were owned by Britain for a very long time. And people that were born, and maybe they're, if anybody is listening to this and can educate us and help me, I'd be more than happy. But people that were born before 1981, I think everybody should have gotten a British passport. And I think that they should have negotiated that because it has value. And our parent country at that time took value. They took from us, and I'm not sure how much more we could have gotten. So let's say if the children were born between so and so and 1981, everybody should be allowed some kind of extra courtesy. So there are countries besides Belize like that were under British rule as well. And now some of those countries have to apply for a visa to get into Britain. They should have negotiated to ensure that their people would have had free access and some benefit from that parent country, as opposed to just saying, like we just saying a Creole, shit that I want to be for my own. No. And maybe, and don't get me wrong, I don't know everything. I start this conversation to see if it is even possible, because maybe some of those things can still be negotiated or asked for, or whatever the deal is. But I think that if you were living with your parents and your paycheck was going to all of your paycheck was going to your mother, and you helped to build a 10 by 10 room in the yard, when you leave the house now at 20 years old, you have no savings. All you're getting is your freedom. But is it really your freedom if you can't come back and say, you know, I don't want to store me 2 suitcases that is 10 by 10 for the next 3 years? Or when you're done with this house, do you mind if I at least get back $300 for the investment? Whatever it is that you feel would have benefited your life without hurting their life. It would cost them nothing to give everybody that was born before 1981 a British passport. It would really and truly contribute in a positive way to a lot of people's lives. We will give them more flexibility to travel, more opportunities, more reach, if you will. And it costs them nothing. Again, I don't know all the rules, but I say the negotiator in me would have asked if it's possible for a little bit more.
Yeah, so I don't know much about, I try to say, I don't know much about the whole political scheme, but I didn't know that we could have asked for anything at independence. I never researched what all it entails
Nor did I.
when when a country is becoming independent. All I remember as again in the 80s was tear gas thrown and people running and then the next thing you know you're celebrating. That's all I remember as a child. Like I don't think in school we were really educated as to
No.
we weren't told as students then why we're celebrating an independence, why we became an independent country, what was in it, why
What
we
was in
had
it for us? What was in it for us? What is in it for us? Good morning to you, Westby, Miss Westby. Good morning to you. Yeah, what was and what is in it for us? Show me. Show me.
now you're gonna make me go on research because I never thought about and I have to go ask my historian like
Mhm.
what was it that really happened during that time. I didn't know that at the table while our country was getting their independence, there was negotiations that could have
I
been
don't
held.
know.
So it would be good for us to have somebody come and explain that for us as to what we would have missed out on or what we
Okay,
could
so
have gained that we didn't
I
gain.
asked AI because that's the only person I got right now. AI says the question that I asked AI is, when you become an independent nation, can you ask your mother country for anything? Right? AI says when a territory becomes an independent nation, it can and often does ask its former mother country for various forms of assistance. These post independence relationships are complex and can include financial, political, and cultural requests. So they could have asked for my passport, you hear me? They could have asked for my passport. They could have asked for my passport. They could have asked for I think one of the things that they asked for and they might have gotten, I think all the countries got, is that we got free movement back then. Some of those countries have since lost their free movement. Some of those countries now still need to go and they have to apply for visas to get into England. So we as Belizeans don't, we still have that liberty, if you will. We can still go to our mother's house and we're welcome. Some of us have to ask to enter. Um, but I don't know. It's just a thought. It's independence. It's 44 years. I really want to know what the conversations were like 44 years ago. And could we have gotten more? We can't go back and get more now. But maybe we can open up the conversation again and see what is left to be gotten.
So I will definitely have to go on AI and ask all these questions too, because I am curious now. What is it that our country gained? And I mean, if we could have gained anything, so what was it that we got? Uh,
We got to call ourselves Belize. We got to say that we are independent. We got to choose to a great degree how we govern ourselves. Not entirely, because we still follow the British rule, if you will. I'm not sure what all the benefits are, but I'm sure that there had to have been something that was beneficial to a country for it, or for all the countries to want to become independent, because it's not only, I mean, many countries have fought for their independence, and that is admirable. I'm not saying no. I'm saying when you leave, try left with more as opposed to less. That's it. If you're going to go, because you have to go, you can't live in your parents' house forever. I get it. But when you're going to go, ask for a little bit more. Not just say, I'm going because the time is now. Try and get a little bit more out of the deal. That's the way I would say.
my Mary Poppins would tell you, Rhonda, please stop saying that, because every time Charlotte come home, she finds something else that she's claiming.
Right. Good job. Good job, Charlotte. That's the idea. That is the idea. Every time you go there, you see something with a for you.
Well, not for me,
Yes.
that's for she. But I said,
You mind if I have this? You mind if I take it? You mind
um,
maybe you use it? No? Okay. And I think that we are a big enough nation and strong enough nation that we can continue to negotiate for our people in positive ways, meaningful ways, that every citizen can have better opportunities. That is just my argument. I want to see all of we succeed equally, right? And I want to see that we get all as big an opportunity as possible. Whoever to listen, try to do something for them, man. Sure.
yes, or try and come back and explain to us, because now I am very curious. I'm going to have to go and research and call my historians and said, listen, I need to know what is it that happened at the table. Why is it that we wanted,
Why
independence?
were we so hot for it?
Why is it that we were so hot to get it? And I'd like to know the pros and the cons about.
Exactly. Exactly. And why is it that I was born in a country when it was called British Honduras, and and I don't have anything to benefit from that time? Um, is it that our parents failed us, that when we were born we could have gotten a British passport? I don't even think that opportunity ever existed, right? I don't think it ever existed,
So
because
the
your parents
passport,
would have had British passports.
the passports that we had, what kind of passports were those?
They're You know what? That's a question I never asked, but I would have think that they may call. I don't know, girl. But a lot hard question come up this morning. Because from the day I got a passport, I got a Belize passport. Let
So
me ask.
no, I had a passport with and I think I can pull this passport right now. I still have my baby passport, but my
What did it look
passport,
like?
huh?
What did it look like?
Well, I had a passport that was white. It looked like just cardboard paper. And
Okay,
then I
listen
had
to
the
what
blue
AI
passport,
said.
but it,
AI says before independence on September 21st, 1981, Belize was British Honduras and its residents were British citizens holding citizens of the United Kingdom and colonies, similar of British nationality, allowing them to use British passports. After independence, their status changed to Belize and they were issued Belize pass. What's wrong with my people there? Belize passports.
Yeah, because I think
And
I
they were issued
like
Belize
stuff had
passports
like
first in the CARICOM. Yeah. So what? I'm feeling a little disturbed. And we have to examine this. We need somebody to come and explain to us when Belize was British Honduras, we had the same rights as British citizens according to AI, right? So our passports were British Honduras and its residents were British citizens holding citizens of the United Kingdom and colonies. So we had the same rights. I think it is like Puerto Rico and America.
and I just got educated. Wait, Rhonda, I might think my passport is right here in my office
Go
drawer.
grab your passport.
But I think I just started getting educated on the I thought it was my passport, but it wasn't my passport. But I just got educated on the Puerto Rico piece because I
Right.
was asking all the same questions after watching Bad Bunny concert. And
Yeah.
I'm here crying with them and wanting to know, oh my gosh, why is it that he wants, he's promoting. So I'm asking my husband, he's the historian in the house,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, I'm trying to understand and he told us the same thing. Go up and look up and start watching all these videos of there's a lot of YouTube that tells you the history and the story of um, Puerto Rico and what happened to the Puerto Ricans. Because I really try to understand why is it Bad Bunny only wanted to speak in their language and why he refuses to do a concert elsewhere. So I had to go and dig up the story um, about Puerto Rico and what happened to their people. And so now I have to go dig up about my own country.
Right. And you and we can't go back and we are having this conversation when we are celebrating 44 years of being independent. Um but as we sit here, because some things I don't know all the rules, you don't know all the rules, AI doesn't know all the rules, but maybe one day we can bring somebody in before September ends.
Yes.
Um yeah, now we have a CARICOM passport. Right. Yes, great. We have Belize passport, CARICOM passport, six one, half a dozen of the other. Um, but I think that there should be something out there if you were born before 1981. So what do you do? Sybil Martin, what do you do about that? I don't know. I really don't have the answer. Maybe somebody have the answer out there.
So we definitely have to bring somebody on that can give us a little history of what happened.
And why they never ask for more?
Mm.
I think they could have asked for more. But some of them might be sitting there thinking, good grief, we got all we could, we got independence. Right. I appreciate that. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate that. I appreciate freedom of any sort because I am big on freedom. But I want to know when you were leaving, you couldn't leave a little bit more in the bag. That's all I want to know. If you could have asked for some more things. Kind of like when Charlotte got in my house and he asked, you think I could have this? It's been what? 30 years and you still try to take out something else out of the lady house, right?
But I still claim my peace. There are
Right.
puppies. Just the other day, she said, "Wait." I said, "Can you please not have nobody sleep on my bed?
Simple.
My bed."
Simple thing. After you have been married for so many years, have your own children, you still you want a little space, a little piece of that. And that's just how it is. But I'll tell you what, we are winding down. I have a matter. I have two matters that came in. This one says, I am not so comfortable with my size, but my husband keeps telling me positive things. Do you think he's only saying that to pacify me?
So if I can speak to that,
Why
I
not?
would say, I mean, if your husband met you at that size and he still keeps giving you positive things, then he loves you just the way you are, honey. And I would embrace it and appreciate it and run with it, because the positive things, you'd rather to have more sugar than vinegar.
Right.
So if that's how he met you, and that's how, obviously he loved the way you were, and he keeps loving the way you are, I would love it and run with it. That would big me up more. That would make me pull out the little stool and stand on it. But that is my take. And if that's not the way he met you, and for some reason that's the way you have progressed, genetics, a medical reason, whatever, keep that man, honey. Keep that man, because that's exactly what you want. You want that man in your house that every time he sees you, he tells you that you look like the best of the best.
I agree. Even if it is cake that has changed your weight, okay, just cake. Cake and ice cream. If those are the things that are responsible for you changing your weight, it's fine. I don't know the guy, but I don't think he's trying to pacify you. And I think the problem is not him or the people on the outside. The problem is you. So if you are not happy, then stop eat the cake, stop eat the ice cream, stop as much as then thing that bring you joy, stop drink the coke, whatever it is that you're doing, and get to a place that you are happy. Because most husbands and wives are really not that concerned about what their husband and wives look like. Why? Because it's the normal household. I never talk about the one-offs, because they have seen you from the inside out. And what you look like from the outside in is of small importance as opposed to what you look like from the inside out. So don't present yourself and represent yourself in a way that you are comfortable, that you are happy, because your husbands and your wives will probably love you if you are 100 pounds or 300 pounds. But you know who's going to have the biggest problem between that 200-pound difference? You. So make sure that you are happy with the way you look, with the way you show up, with the way you are. Miss Westby says there is a history book, The Road to Independence. Well, but I can read the book, I understand the road to independence, but I want to ask the questions when nobody asks, because I sure in that book they not tell me that they could have been asked for more. I want somebody tell me now. I want to have a conversation with somebody. I think Charlotte and I will try and find somebody to have a real conversation with, and to see, while we can educate people on the process. I think
Yeah.
one time I did interview Honorable Dolores Balaramos Garcia, and she explained the road to independence. But I don't know that I had asked her if we could have asked for more.
Is there anybody still alive, that sat at that table that made those decisions?
Possibly.
We're
There,
gonna look this
there's
up.
there's a high possibility that some of them are still alive, because it's not so long ago. It's only 44 years ago. And if they were 30, they might be 70 something years old and still alive, because we live long. We don't believe and we live forever. You understand? We live on. We live on. One more matter before we go. I'm about to get married, but my idea of marriage might be different from my husband's. I would still want to do many things alone, travel alone, and have a lot of alone time. Do you think that this will be possible?
Wait, a lot of alone time after you're married?
Yeah.
Well,
It depends on who you marry. Let's just let that is my argument will be, it depends on who you marry. If you tell this person, because some marriages are so understanding. The people in it are understanding. We live in a different time. What I would ask myself is, what is the benefit of getting married for you? Why do you
That's
want to be
exactly
married?
what I would say. Like, why get married then?
Yeah, why are you looking to be married if you want to spend time alone, travel alone, do things by yourself? You want to change your last name and get a ring. If that is the case, you can do that on your own without being married. Buy yourself a ring and go call yourself Mrs. Mary Jane. But um marriage, you should still be able to do a lot of things on your own. You should still be able to exactly. Sybil says, then don't
People
get
says
married,
don't get
right?
married.
Um
Well, I wouldn't get married.
I wouldn't get married either if that was the deal. But there must be something that is appealing to her about being married. But it is not enough for her to not want to be free still. We're living in 2025, and I am the great negotiator, is what I would say to you. Negotiate it. If that's what you want, negotiate it. But know that when you are married, you have to interact with somebody other than yourself. You are going to be living in a space where you're going to be interacting. In your case, it would appear more than you want with somebody that is there, that have needs and have um desires, and they might be getting married so that they can travel the world with somebody, and you are getting married for name and stability so you can travel it alone. This is a conversation you need to have honestly and earnestly before you put on the ring and buy the white dress.
I really do agree. If that's the, yeah, you really need to have some second thoughts.
Maybe you can just date this guy for an extended period. Maybe she likes him and she don't want nobody else get him, but she not fully want her. I'm not sure what the deal is. I'd say talk about it, have conversations about it. Is it possible? Everything is possible.
Hmm.
Everything is possible. That's just how the life is. Everything and anything is possible. Um, but you have to think about, why do you want to get married? Because when you get married, your life it should be connected to somebody in a different way than when you were single. I shouldn't want to get up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to go to Liberia for a month and I'm not going to bother to do anything else. I'm not going to call anybody, call my husband. I don't want to be bothered with, I don't know, whatever it is that's happening in the house, because I need some time for myself. One time in a long time, okay, maybe. But that can't be the way you live.
Yeah.
It just can't be. It can't. That's not how married people live. But if you want to live so, negotiate it with the husband that you try get and see what he say.
I would like to hear the results of that.
We'll see. If you're listening still, send us back how the conversation gone. That's what we just say. Tell me how you gone. Anyway, Charlotte, any final words?
No, I hope you guys have a great, productive week. Again, if you know anybody that's a good historian or a part of the road to independence that can give us
Right.
more details and facts about it, we would love to hear more about it. Um, and again, while you're out there this week, do good, speak good, think good. It's all about being good.
That's right. All the things that Charlotte says, though I'm wrapping up with Charlotte today. Everything that Charlotte says and a little bit more, be good, do good. And just celebrate yourself. I want to encourage people to celebrate yourself. Look for the good in yourself, and that will cause you to look for the good in other people as well. Like Charlotte said, do good. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.